it's really important to contemplate, to sit with, to go into relationship with the image. So like now that you've read Soulcraft, you're like, Cocoon Weaver, that's so huge and wonderful and big. But, you know, at the time, he just thought he heard a butterfly say Cocoon Weaver, and he almost brushed it off. And so this is a really important point. Unless you're Moses and a bush is burning in front of you, or unless you're Arjuna and Krishna turns out to be your chariot driver, mostly we're not Arjuna and Moses is not going to be quite so intense. It's just, I was just lying on a couch, just contemplating my life. And then the image of whole person midwife came, and then it was gone. So be very careful. If you're waiting for the white-winged buffalo, as Black Elk says in his book, right? I mean, he was a great shaman, so he actually got to see it. But most Native Americans in his tradition never get to see the white-winged buffalo. So don't wait. Don't be white-winged buffalo obsessed. You'll lose almost every time. So it will be small. It'll be just a brush against your cheek. Just a little kiss. If you're looking for the divine to grab you and basically, you know, ravish you, well, if that happens, let me know. That sounds great. Probably you'll just get a little touch. And of course, the ego says, no, I don't want just a little touch. I want the full, you know, I want to be smacked silly by the mystery. Well, okay, it's fine to say what your preference is, but you can't order the mystery. So be very certain that you may get a very subtle answer, and you have to be open to that and ready for that, whatever it may be. That's one of the biggest obstacles in this program, is people are waiting for the blinding light, and they get, you know, what, a tiny butterfly whispering two words. And I've literally seen this happen again and again. I say, someone will come back from the soul quest and they'll go, nothing happened. And every time I don't believe them, ever. And look, one day maybe it'll happen. Like literally we'll investigate and nothing will have happened, but it hasn't happened yet. And so I said, well, tell me about the nothing. And then they tell me. And I said, well, let me get more interested in this. And when you made this prayer, what happened? Well, actually, you know, there was this spider that came down on a thing and was hanging in front of my face. And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And can we continue a dialogue with that? And then it turns out it was there, but they were waiting for the white-winged buffalo when all it was a spider on a thread. And they're like, well, Jonathan, aren't you just trying to make something out of nothing? I'm like, that's certainly not my intention. I can see how that's possible, but can you also see how it's possible that wild nature as an emanation of the unbounded is communicating with you? And they're like, okay, let's try it out. So subtle, 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 subtle. All right.
So I fell asleep with your beautiful, soothing voice, and felt a little frustrated. But then what you said after about frustration reminded me of something that I read and that gave me great comfort earlier in the week when I was feeling frustrated, from the novel The Overstory, which I said something about and I just loved this, and I wanted to share it for those who might feel frustrated. Um, Her breakthrough comes, as breakthroughs often do, by long and prepared accident.
That's gorgeous.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And you know, when I read that, I thought, yeah, this is what I've been doing my whole life. I've been preparing for a miraculous accident or something. You know,
Beautiful.
it just made me feel okay, yeah. And in my life, that's been my experience, is that, you know, yeah, it comes or it doesn't, but you lay the ground for it, and that's what we can do.